Hi folks, how are you all doing? As always, a pleasure to connect with you and speak with you about contemporary topics on life and careers. And if that is something which is of interest to you, probably I should urge you to consider subscribing to this channel. A very important video, primarily in an age when social media has become so common amongst all kind of people, be it professionals, students, elders. I think just cutting across all age groups, social media. In fact, social media addiction or doom scrolling is almost rage. And a very important perspective on how it is affecting our profession, how it could impact our careers is what we're going to talk about. Something which I think we should never take lightly, and which is why I call trigger happy in social media. What exactly do I mean by trigger happy in social media? Listen in until the end. We all have social media accounts. We also have a work life. Our work life is very different from social media. Our personal lives are very different from social media. But that's it. Most of us now have at least multiple social media accounts, at least one social media account where we probably, if I can use the word, keep ranting on anything that matters in the earth. It can be politics, it can be social affairs, it could be rains in your locality, it could be weather, just about anything, and we try to keep ourselves occupied by posting one thing or other. Some people also are into engagement farming, where I think that there's a persona which starts enjoying this virtual importance or virtual significance, which again is a very huge topic in terms of the social media mindset and things like that, but we're not going into that. What we're going to talk about here is only the impact which your posts, your positioning in social media, your utterance in social media probably can have on your work life. Now, how is that? Why would you think, or why do you think I would say that our work lives could get affected positively and negatively by social media? I think you just have to look around and you'll see a whole of examples where people take very radical political views on social media, and because of that, some of them actually get hunted down in the place of employment to the point that they get thrown out of their job for expressing their views. This is not a good trend. I agree with that. It is when all of us are governed by the classic freedom of expression, where we think freedom of expression is really literally free in all contexts, but that is not the case. A lot of times freedom of expression comes with a lot of limitations. Now cut that. The other major problem as far as social media or the way we operate in social media is that a lot of times we tend to have very different personalities between what we are in real life as well as what we have as a persona in social media. Yes, I'm not saying 100 on 100 people have the same kind of mindset, but predominantly I would say my own studies, or there are a lot of researchers to corroborate the fact that at least 60-70% people are very different personas on social media, contrary to what they are in real life. In real life, they could be extremely hardworking professionals. They really would be outstanding in their area of work. They probably have won accolades in their work and probably are the best in their trade. Very down to earth people, very approachable people, very professional people, very people with a lot of etiquette and things like that. Contrast this with the same social media personality, somebody who's very brash on social media, who's abusive, who uses foul language at the top of her head, who responds with virulent comments on a lot of affairs and things like that. I'm sure if you sit back and think for a few minutes as to how you behave differently in real life and social media, you obviously will understand, or you'll realize how different we are. Not everybody, as I say, but majority of them. Now, why is it? I think we are all we all get carried away by the anonymity which social media gives us. We think just using a different handle name or using an alibi for our names and having a social media mask really will protect us from any trouble. But in real life, it is not the case. It is very easy to track down IPs. It is very easy to track down who owns a social media handle, from where it is operated, and that exactly is the problem with these guys who are there in the political space or in social space, whose probably almost full-time job is to probably report handles, and in case there are untasteful political posts which go against the government of the day, the views of the day. It can be any government. It can be the national government, it can be state government. I'm not trying to judge any political parties here, but that's the nature of the system we are in. And immediately these people report it to your employer, report it to your managing director, report it to your board of directors, report it to your universities, and I think in 90% of the cases, I've never seen employers standing in solidarity with their staff, saying that no, this person is free to have his expression, so we really don't have a problem. Not at all. At least 9 out of 10 cases, employers will instantly fire this person, because end of the day, employment or the organizations also are not working in isolation. The organizations are part of the system here. Organizations need support from the government of the day. Organizations, it can be any government. It can be governments in the West, it can be governments in the Europe, it can be government in India, it can be government in the Far East countries. In fact, governments in the Middle East also, even monarchies. No organization, however big or small, worth its salt, really would want to be a prey to what is classically known as political risk in organizational parlance. That is the last thing they would want as a headache, because if they get involved in any political risk, it is going to affect the organization not just in that country but globally also. If somebody in a Middle East organization has anti-Semitic views, has views against Israel and things like that, it is going to have a cascading effect across the entire globe. And every country which is sympathetic to the cause of Israel, I'm just giving Israel as an example, every country which is sympathetic to the cause of Israel is going to probably not want to hire or not want to touch that employee with a barge pole. And the immediate recourse for them is to probably fire you from that role wherever you are. This is not restricted to the West. This is also happening in India in a big way. Maybe a lot of things don't come in light to the media. As I said, it could be a national government, it can be multiple state governments, it can be anybody. Wherever you work, you have to be very, very careful in the kinds of posts you make, as long as you are in a full-time employment in your organization. Of course, if you are an owner of your organization, if you are an entrepreneur, and if you have that liberty to hold your views irrespective of what the consequences are, then of course the story is very, very different. But as long as you are in a day job, you are a full-time employment, irrespective of whatever level you are, you can be an entry-level person in the organization, you can be a managing director of the organization. As long as you hold an accountable and responsible post reporting to one set of people or just one person, you have to be very, very careful in posturing on social media, I would say. Be very, very careful in your views. Be very, very restrained in terms of your responses, because there is a whole big troll ecosystem there in the social media. Political organizations have employed huge swath of social media professionals, outsource their social media responsibility to our private organizations, and these private organizations are going to get remunerated for the kind of favors they do for these political parties, and these favors unfortunately could even mean that somebody who's held an opposite view is being fired from their particular role. So that is the crux of what I wanted to put across in video, and it is very, very relevant in today's context. Social media is growing, social media is a rage. As I said, social media is all pervasive. All of us have social media accounts. I have a social media account. I have multiple social media accounts. I probably have more liberty than you, because I am not dependent on a full-time employment. I am a freelancer. I'm on my own. But all of you may not be in the same boat. All of you probably are working somewhere. So be very, very wary of how you respond to things on social media. Don't be trigger happy. And before you enter something and before you type something which you think is controversial and hit the enter button, read it, reread it again and again, and if necessary, probably delete it and don't post it. Probably you just don't think about the topic for some time. Your views will probably mellow down, if I can say. Yeah, I'm not saying you should probably restrain your thinking, you should probably not hold certain political views and things like that. All of us are liberty to hold political views, but unfortunately or fortunately, as long as we are dependent on jobs, it is very, very essential that we govern ourselves with the kind of etiquette which the organization will judge us in case there is trouble. That is the most important thing. This is not much spoken about even in social media related channels or professional and career YouTube channels. But I think it is high time that all of us be very, very careful as to how we behave ourselves on social media, how we conduct on social media. Be very careful. Don't be trigger happy on social media. If you are that trigger happy kind of a person, I think you have to mellow down. I would say probably you should probably even stay away from social media. You have that kind of personality. because end of the day, social media for professionals has to be a filler and not a full-time occupation. Of course, it is a long story that social media has also got a lot of other problems affecting our time, our operations, our work discipline and things like that. That's a huge story to talk about. But the fundamental thing is, don't be trigger happy on social media. I wanted to convey that message you because I thought it is very, very important in today's context. Thanks for listening in. I'm sure you'll find it worthy of sharing it with a lot of people. As I said, because it is an all pervasive thing. Almost every second person, third person has multiple social media account, and almost everyone has have at least one social media account, be it Twitter or Facebook or whatever. Of course, in all this talk of mine, I probably haven't highlighted that LinkedIn is probably, we see it as a professional network, but LinkedIn also has got very, very diluted in recent times. LinkedIn also, people have started posting stories about their dogs getting drenched in rain. Every day we see there is a political event, we immediately see people getting inspired and saying what are 10 management lessons you learn from there. So it goes on and on. So in that sense, LinkedIn also has become kind of a trivialized platform as compared to the very, very serious professional networking platform earlier. So even in LinkedIn, of course, you use use LinkedIn for your professional needs, to connect with people, to improve your personal brand and things like that. But if there are controversial views on LinkedIn, I think you should hold your horses and not respond and just stay quiet, because that also can be a cause for trouble. I wanted to highlight that fact as well. Thanks for your time. I'll see you soon in another interesting topic. I'm sure you found it very, very engrossing and useful and very, very important from a career perspective. Thank you. Have a wonderful career ahead. I'll see you soon.